Hey everybody, I'm happy to announce that I am back with another Richard Corben video. And this is another magazine edition. On my last video, I mentioned to you guys that I pretty much have everything in comic book form that I was looking for. So unless something pops up that I've never heard about or never seen before, we've got all of the the Richard Corben books in comic book form. So it just might be, magazine videos from here on out. But as long as I keep finding stuff and coming across stuff, I'll keep showing them to you guys. So you can also get a look at what's out there and what I've been adding to my collection lately. So, I have a small stack that I'd like to show you today. Some stuff that I've gotten over the last several months. I've been kind of behind with showing some of this stuff, but I got some cool stuff that I want to show you. These are all magazines, excuse me, magazines that either feature Corben's art with his writing as well, and a few other types of things that'll be interesting for you to see. So let's get started. So this first one I want to show you is the infamous heavy metal that we all know and are familiar with. This is from December of 1982. I was accumulating magazines so fast that I'm not exactly sure where I found this one. But Corben Den is in this book. If you're familiar with these videos, we talk about Den pretty regularly, so I won't spend too much time on this. But it's actually listed as Den 2. Now, some of the heavy metal books will just say Den, some will say Den 2. I'm not exactly sure what's the difference between the two, because not only am I a little behind on some of my Den reading, but Den has appeared in 3 or 4, maybe 5 different books and titles and whatnot. And I haven't yet, I've never read Den from the very beginning all the way through to the end, which I'm sure I could do with the actual Den books, which I haven't gotten around to doing. But anyway, when I've read them, it's just kind of bouncing around. So somebody help me with that. What's the difference between the Den and the Den 2? I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, this is the first one I want to show you guys. Heavy metal from December of 1982. Next up, we have another heavy metal. And this one is April of 1987. This is let me see. Let's open this one, because I believe I remember this one being very interesting. There was something that I wanted to point out in here. April 1977, and this also has a Den story, but it also, it also has a Von Bodie Sunspot story in here. I'm a big Von Bodie fan, but the Den story in here. Is that it? Wait a minute. Let me make sure. That doesn't look like it. Wait a minute. Oh, I remember. This was the. Oh no, this was just a regular Den story. Okay, this is just another regular Den story. So we won't spend too much time on the Den, because we know what time it is with that. But I love when I when I grab one of these heavy metals and it's got Den and it's got Von Bodie in the same book. I believe I picked this one up at a local shop here in town. Ooh, back to my Erie. You guys know I love my Erie. Let's crack this one open. This is number 43 from November of 1972. And this was actually a black and white story. Let's get a closer look at that. This was a story called Bright Eyes in here. And it's one of those kind of stranger in the night type of stories in black and white. But I wanted to show you this because I love, you know, with this being in black and white, it really adds to, you know, the kind of the mystique and the darkness of this story. You can tell it's a lot of stuff taking place at night. Look at some of the shades that Corben used, you know, in this black and white art. You know, kind of makes it, for lack of a better word, just that much more eerie. You know, check this out. I just love the shading in that artwork. And so you get so many different varieties of so many different varieties of that eccentric type of art and shading that you kind of take on different. It kind of sends you down different different paths of thinking or how you actually interpret the story. I don't think this story would have been as enjoyable if it were in color. It just looked like it was made to be drawn in black and white. And who knows? For all I know, that could have been, you know, the whole purpose in the first place, just to kind of set that tone and set that mood for this story. Bright Eyes is the name of the story, and that's Erie number 43, 1972. That was a good read. Next up, this is the very first issue of The Rook. And this is 1979 this book came out. And this is Corben cover only. So let's get a nice close-up of that artwork. Wow, look at that. You know, it's like Richard Corben was drawing robots like this here. He did a lot of dinosaurs and stuff. Rats and aliens and type you know, zombies and the undead and that kind of stuff. He did so much of that. But man, when he does the robots and the dinosaurs, those are some of my favorites. No art or none of his stories inside. This is one of those that he just did the cover for. And I do believe I showed you guys a Rook magazine in the past on one of the other Corben videos that I made. And I think he did at least 3 covers. So I think there might be one more of these I need to show you guys. But wow, even just the font and how the color kind of blends in with the upper part of that magazine, you know, just comes full circle. I really like that cover. Next up, oh, we're back to my creepy. This is awesome. Now, the guy I bought this from, he had like little stickers on the front of every magazine to let you know what was actually inside of the magazine. And on this one, by the way, this is creepy number 64. It's from 1974. And on the sticker that he had on this particular magazine, it listed Corben, and that the story was in color, and that it was called An Angel Shy of Hell, pages 56 to 59. Or, no, I'm sorry, 59 to 66 was the pages that the story was on. And it's not in too bad a condition or whatever, but and he didn't do that cover art. I think that's pretty cool. This is one of the more recognizable creepy magazines. Some of those covers are just classic covers or whatnot. The story that's in here is just features Corben's artwork. He didn't actually write the story, just the artwork on that one. Next up, this is another classic. We have Fantasy Illustrated, Frank Frazetta's magazine. I featured one or two of these in past videos. Frank Frazetta kind of did his own type of sci-fi book, and he had some of the greatest artists and writers in that genre. Just his whole take on 1984 or Epic or older books like that. This book I want to open up and show you. This is fall of 1998, and the artwork on this particular book was really different than I've ever seen Corben do. It's really interesting. It's very different. I wouldn't say I like it better than some of his other stuff, but it's just very different than what I'm used to seeing. Let's see if, okay, here we go. So first of all, this story is called The Tower of No. And if you kind of look at this, it's real soft colors. Real soft colors on there. And the art, for lack of a better description, it's just kind of bubbly looking. Does that make sense? Kind of, a lot of the faces kind of look real like bubble faces, and along with that those soft shades and those soft colors. This is the only time I've seen this type of artwork. This is really different than what I'm used to seeing with Richard Corben's artwork. I mean, it's definitely, his art, but this art seems a little bit more vivid, a little bit more realistic, and I guess you could probably credit a lot of that just to this book being released in 1998, opposed to a lot of these other magazines that I've showed you are from the 70s. So you could probably chalk it up to technology. I'm guessing as to why that stuff is so different. And then, different publishing companies, I guess stuff could come out a little different. I don't know. I'm just guessing at that. Maybe you guys have some insight on that. Now here's a familiar cover. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen. This is Eerie number 77, and this was from September of 1976. And see, this is what I'm talking about. That's that classic Richard Corben colors and shades, and the scantily clad women. There's some, I guess, some kind of dinosaur ran this woman clean up a tree butt naked. I don't know if she was about to take a shower, or if she was skinny dipping. I don't know. I used to skinny dip back in the day, but we're not going to talk about that. So I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, something scared her up in that tree. Whatever this little pterodactyl looking thing is. The story is exactly what you see here. This is just a perfect description of what goes on inside. But yeah, just another one of those cool, classic, eerie covers. I do so love the eerie and the creepy magazines. that that Corben art was featured in. These are like some of my favorites, among my favorite of the magazines, probably right on top there. Um, Got another heavy metal to show you. This is another one from 1977, September of 1977 to be exact. Another Den story. You've heard all about that more than once, so we won't spend too much time on that. And this is one of the more recognizable heavy metal covers, and definitely um, one of the more affordable heavy metals. There's some out there that I need to get my hands on that are like super expensive. I'm talking about 50, 60, 70 dollar books. Um, but I'll just have to keep digging for that kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, the classic, and I think that our artist Morbius is in here. Like a lot of have him and Corbin appeared in a lot of heavy metal magazines. I'm not a big fan of his art, but I'm very familiar. I think he probably has more artwork in heavy metal, or one of the top artists that they use for this particular magazine. So um, expect to see him pretty often if you collect heavy metal. Okay, I have one more to show you before we get out of here, and this one is very, very special. I have to mention my good buddy Billy over at Billy's Comics. Billy was set up selling comics at the Epic Toy Show just this past weekend, and we got to have a nice conversation along with Drew from Ash Avenue Comics, and we talked about a number of things, and one of the things that came up was autographs, signed books, and I'm not a big fan. I shouldn't say fan. I'm not one of those guys that go after a lot of autographs from different comic book artists and writers and publishers and all of these guys. I mean, I would love to have a Stan Lee signed book, which I don't have. I would love to have a Frank Miller autograph, which I don't have. And I would love to have a Richard Corben autograph, which I've never had until now. Billy gave me a call, said he had just acquired a collection, and he pulled out a copy of Tales from the Plague. Now, this is the second release of this book. The first one has that purple cover. I've showed it to you on a past video. I did not, I never pursued this book because I figured I have the first pressing. I don't need another one, even though they have different covers and whatnot. This is magazine size, in case you didn't notice that already. But Billy calls me up and he says, hey, I got a Corben book. It's signed, and I'm giving you first dibs on it. Now, the cool thing about this book is not only is it signed by Corben, which I'm going to show you in just a second, but it's triple signed. And it's also signed by the publisher, Bill Leach, who, because this came out on Eclipse Comics. And also, we have it signed by Dennis Cunningham, who is actually the writer. So we got the writer, the artist, and the publisher all signed right there. How cool is that? If I would have bought this book on my own, I probably would have went right past that and not even noticed it. Maybe. I'm guessing. And this is numbered. This is number 425 out of 500 of these books. And I'm assuming that they're all autographed. I'm assuming. I don't know. Or maybe it was just so many This was released in 1986. But wow, having that conversation and then boom, just like that, I now have a signed Richard Corben comic in my collection. How cool is that? And it's all because of Billy over at Billy's Comics. Billy, you the man. You the man, son. Make sure you go check out Billy's Comics on Instagram, the .coms and all of that. Look him up. He'll probably be in a city near you. He's got indie comic, his own indie comics that he puts out. And so check him out. He's at Comic-Cons all over the country. Thanks again, Billy. This is really cool. A really, really nice, cool addition to my collection. And there you have it. The latest Richard Corben comic magazine or comic video magazine edition. What number is this? I believe this is number 14. I hope I got that right, but I do believe this is number 14. Anyway, until next time, you guys stay safe out there, and hopefully I'll see you again real soon with another Richard Corben comic collection. So far, take care.